So as you can see, this time we're going to do a mod Twiggy inspired look for our 1960s makeup. So as always, I'm just going to prep my skin. I've already cleansed, toned and moisturised, so right now I'm just adding on a little bit of my favourite NARS Radiance primer. Using my hands, I'm just kind of pushing that all over the skin. Our main achievement in this kind of makeup look, or any makeup look really, is to have flawless skin. Now nobody's got flawless skin, so by really prepping our skin and playing with our skin before we apply any product of makeup on, we will get a kind of really nice smooth effect, and we'll actually use less product, which when it comes to TV and film is ideal because we don't want to see any product on camera. Now I'm happy with my base, my primer, I'm going to apply some foundation. So you can see I'm using a kind of natural colour foundation, probably true to my shade. In the 60s it wasn't overly too dark, it was more like a natural kind of lighter tone. I am using a large foundation brush and I am applying it mainly in the middle of my face and then just bringing the product downwards and upwards towards the edge. By doing this, I use less product, I'm in control of the foundation and I can always add more on, whereas I'm not applying too much product at once. Now I do need to get rid of those black eyes, so I've chosen to use the Kevin Aucoin Skin Corrector, which I absolutely love. It's quite a heavy duty kind of concealer. This is in a lighter shade than my skin tone would naturally be, but because I am going quite dark and I'm using black and white, having a lighter under eye is okay, and I will blend it into the foundation. This skin corrector is very rich in emollients, so it's very hydrating for under the eye, and you only need a tiny little bit of the product, and a little bit goes a long, long way. As you can see, I'm using a beauty blender. This has been dampened with just some fresh water. Now, if you are going to use beauty blenders, it is so important to make sure you're using a clean or new beauty blender per client. Never obviously double dip, and get them a good clean with a proper cleaning solution. Isoclean do a great sponge cleaning solution, which is ideal. Now, 60s brow was fairly natural. There was a kind of raised arch effect. I'm not going to get that today because I've got a naturally straight brow. Well, I'm trying to achieve that. So I'm just going to colour them in very slightly, not going to kind of contour them or carve a brow in any way, shape or form. Just going with the natural hair, covering in any kind of patchy bits. And now we can move on to our eyes. So I'm going to use the P. Louise base in 02 and I'm just going to apply that very kind of sporadically over the lid, covering all areas. Not too heavy a layer, and just kind of patting that in with a large brush. Again on the other eye, exactly the same. For this look, I'm just going to stick with the kind of classic matte black, matte white effect on the eye, although in the 60s they did kind of use kind of limey greens and pastel purples and blues, which are beautiful. But for the black, I'm just going to go in with a thin brush and just apply black product and a kind of carved effect around the top of the eye, making sure it's rounded, not kind of bringing it out in any way. Once I'm happy with my product placement, I'm going to get in with a little kind of pencil brush, a smudging brush, and just very, very gently blend around the edges. I don't want to bring the colour up any higher, but I just want to soften it so there's no kind of harshness to the line there. And I'm going to repeat the process on the other side. It's not until you do the other eye that you kind of notice that your face isn't exactly symmetrical, so just bear that in mind when you're doing this look, that you might need to kind of add a little bit more product under one eye, slightly less product on the other, or just kind of alter the shape a tiny bit to suit your eye shape itself. And that's exactly the same when you're doing it on a client. Just make sure you're having a good look, get them to look in the mirror and you stand behind them and have a good look at the face, and just make sure that everything is kind of as symmetrical as it can possibly be. I'm applying the Pete Louise base again. Now the reason I'm applying this, don't necessarily need to, but I would like my white to be as bright as possible. So by applying the base on top of the black, I can almost kind of carve out a soft and halo effect eye there, and then I can apply the white eyeshadow on top and get a really intense colour without blending it in and getting a kind of blacky grey effect. And then once my base is on, as you can see, I'm just pushing the white eyeshadow into the base that's there, and you can see the intensity is quite strong with kind of minimum effort. Guess what? We repeat the process exactly the same on the other side. Once you're happy with the intensity and the blend of the white, go back in with your little smudging brush and just soften any kind of edges that meet together that you're not happy with, and then you can use a kind of concealer brush underneath just to tidy up anything. Always make sure your area you're working with is neat before you move on to the next stage. Eyeliner this time, I'm using a pen liner as you can see, and I'm just kind of drawing quite a thick line, starting in the middle of the eye. I never start right in the corner, because then you can't control how thick you want the line to be. If you start right in the middle, you can kind of bring it thinner and you can create it thicker, have a little bit more control with the line. Again, repeating the process on the other side. Now your kind of 60s eye came right into the tear duct, the liner did anyway, and the edge of the liner didn't come up like the 50s, it actually dropped a little bit, so it created kind of like a doe eye effect when we're talking about the kind of Twiggy mod style of makeup. I'm choosing to add a little bit of darkness, just using the matte black underneath the eye. It wasn't always used in the kind of Twiggy looks, but it was used quite regularly in the mod look, so I'm just kind of incorporating a little bit of that in there. Not much, just enough to give a little bit of definition to under the eye. Now to enhance that darkness, I'm going to apply a bit of white kohl eyeliner in there, and that'll really make my waterline pop and achieve a really nice kind of bigger, brighter, bolder eye. So I've dried the waterline with a cotton bud. This just allows the product to stick a lot easier. And I've gone in with the kohl pencil and just kind of coated that on. And you can see instantly the effect that has. Now, loads of mascara. We will add lashes onto this look, but the 60s, they were quite big on their mascara on top and bottom. Be careful when you're applying your mascara, especially because we are applying it to be quite thick and gloopy looking. We don't want that product to hit off our eyeshadow, especially because we are using white eyeshadow. It's obviously going to show up. If, however, that does happen, the best thing to do is just to let the mascara dry, and just it'll flick off at the end with a kind of dry fluffy brush. If you were to go in and kind of move the mascara about when it's wet, then it's going to just leave a big grey dirty mark that you probably won't be able to get rid of. So while I am waiting for my eyelashes, well, the glue on my eyelashes to go tacky, I'm going to draw some liner lashes underneath my eyes. I've chosen to do 3 on both sides, just being very wary of the symmetry. Now my lashes are ready to go, so I've applied that on. These are the Eldora M108s, which aren't too big, but they are slightly more winged at the edge, so I get that nice kind of flared effect. Again, applying it on the other side. And using a wee tweezer if needed, just to kind of pull it into place. Now, once my lashes are glued on, I am going to apply a coat of mascara. Now, this will darken the lashes and create a more dramatic look, but it also kind of blurs your natural lashes into the false lash. So again, kind of creating that illusion of a big, huge lash that's all yours. And again, lots of mascara underneath. They were very, very big on mascara, the kind of grunged effect. You could technically squeeze your eyelashes together with the mascara and create a really nice big clumpy lash. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply some under lashes underneath. So all I've got here is some individual lashes, and I'm just turning them upside down and sticking them underneath my lash, my lower lash. I'm going to apply 3 on either side, just kind of on top of where I applied my little kind of liner lash drawing. Once I'm happy and they're dry, I'm just going to clean up underneath, add a little bit more powder to take away the excess shine, and finish my skin off. So in the 60s, they didn't use a lot of bronzer, there wasn't much contouring going on, but we did know as artists that we kind of brought colour forward by lightening, pushed it back by kind of darkening. So I'm using a little bit of bronzer just to kind of warm up certain areas of the face. Now, blusher was quite big in the 60s. It was a little bit lower down than we would normally apply it now, and more kind of peachy tones. So I've gone for the kind of peacher tone in the Crown blush palette that we got in our kits, and I'm just applying that onto the lower apple of my cheek. Your original mod look was matte and pale for the lips. So I've gone for Naked Liner from MAC, which is kind of like a skin toned liner almost. And I'm just outlining the lips to give a wee bit of definition. And then I'm going to add a matte nude, very nude tone on there. That one's called Myth, which was actually my first ever MAC lipstick that I ever bought. So again, yeah, it's a really nice kind of light tone. And there we go, kind of pulled my hair back for the wee Twiggy pixie cut. And yeah, ready to rock my mod 60s look.